How painful labour is has a lot to do with your baby's position and how easily they pass through the pelvis. The pain that you feel in labour is actually your uterus contracting. Your uterus is two sets of muscles that work together, and they have two jobs during labour. The first one is to dilate the cervix, which you're probably familiar with. But the second really important job that not many women are aware of is the contractions actually move the baby. They move the baby to find a good position to fit into the pelvis, and they put pressure on them to gently push them further down. When your baby's in a good position and they're fitting nicely into the pelvis and the contractions are gradually putting pressure and they're moving deeper down, the baby facilitates labour progress. So as they move deeper down into the pelvis, that's where you see labour moving into the more established stage where we see dilation, and then onto the pushing stage. When labour's progressing as it should and the baby's making that journey, then the contractions tend to build in intensity over time. They start to become more frequent, more intense, and they come closer together. So as they build in intensity, you also build a natural resilience to them over time. When your baby isn't able to fit nicely in the pelvis, if they're struggling to engage, or if they get into the mid pelvis and they're struggling to rotate, then the contractions will change pattern. The contractions are putting pressure and they know that baby's not getting any deeper, so they will become more intense. They'll come even more frequently, perhaps even back to back. They could be double peaking, which means you get one contraction and before that's even worn off, a second one comes. This is your body being so incredibly intelligent, trying very hard to move your baby into a better position so that they can continue the journey through the pelvis. But here's the thing, when that happens, when birth goes from 0 to 100 and becomes really overwhelming and intense for the mother, or the opposite could happen, the contractions could stop completely, which is giving the baby the space that they need to rotate and to be born. But when this happens, we tend to look at this as though it's a problem, that the mother's body isn't working, that something's broken. But really, your body is always doing what it's perfectly designed to do, helping your baby through the pelvis. So even though it can get quite challenging for the mother, it isn't a sign that her body's broken. She just needs the right support. So if this happens, if labour stalls and the contractions ease off, commonly known as failure to progress, the mother can support herself with strategic movements so that she can open the part of the pelvis that the baby is in to give them more space, and that allows them to make some adjustments, change their position and find a better fit through the pelvis. Or in the opposite scenario where labour is really overwhelming, the contractions are just coming thick and fast, labour has gone from 0 to 100, the mother can use strategic movements or biomechanic techniques to relieve pressure and to open the part of the pelvis where the baby is, so that those strong contractions that are trying to move the baby now have more space to put the baby into, so that they can find the best position for them to continue their journey through the pelvis. So instead of feeling completely powerless, that labour is just going off track, it's not going to plan, there's nothing that you can do, there are tools that you can use as simple as changing your position, which changes the space that your baby has in the pelvis. There are positions that open the inlet to help the baby engage. There are positions that open the mid-pelvis to give them more space so that they can rotate. And then there are positions that open this outlet as well, moving the sacrum out of the way to give the baby more space to be born. And when you understand what contractions are trying to do and you can read their pattern, then you can use that information to empower you to know which positions to use to help your baby through the pelvis.